Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought I'd make a quick video talking about the Twitch drops that are happening this weekend. Basically, there are some WTCS Air Superiority Twitch drops. These are the esports Twitch drops, which are coming in for War Thunder. This event was actually delayed by a week, and it was on the Discord saying that they had technical issues, but now it looks like it's up and running. So there will be streams on the official War Thunder esports channels tomorrow and also the next day, and also next weekend. So basically the 4th and 5th of October and the 11th and 12th, where you can get a bunch of free stuff. And basically you can get some SL boosters, some camos, profile icon, a decal, and also a day of premium on each of the weekends, which is pretty fun. So if you want to get these things, all you got to do is watch the official esports streams of War Thunder. Also, at the same time, there's probably going to be some more active matter drops this weekend, just because they've been pumping those out. It would be very surprising if they don't do something else like that. Over the next few weekends seems to have been pretty good in terms of getting eyes on the game, and therefore I'll be playing some War Thunder in order to do the event, and also some active matter too. And when it comes to those, there'll probably be some little pieces for active matter, maybe for War Thunder. If there's any additional information on it, I'll let you guys know. The reason why I wanted to put them all in the same video is basically it's all around the same stuff, right? It's all around Twitch streaming and general official stuff from good old Gaijin. Just talking about the 4th and 5th of October here, so the first weekend of the esports Twitch drops, you have you have one RP booster for 50% for 10 battles. You also have the same for an SL booster, and then you also have a day of premium. You have the Air Superiority 2025 decal as well, and the Crystal Shards profile icon frame, which looks pretty nice. And on top of it, you get the FA-18C late Thrustmaster camouflage. So basically you get a Thrustmaster inspired camo. Thrustmaster are the main sponsors of these competitive esports tournaments, so not too surprising that they're getting their standard kind of setup in the game. It's something that has been there for a long time, Thrustmaster and War Thunder collaborating for these things. Next week there is a cool historical camo for a Spitfire, but we'll talk about that when it happens. For the rest of this video, I kind of want to talk a bit about active matter and also how I kind of feel about it. So as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. So let's have a chat about active matter. Active matter is one of Gaijin's new games, and basically what it is an extraction shooter which is slightly different from some that you've seen. Basically, a lot of the extraction shooter genre is very similar to what would be classed as, well, Tarkov-esque, right? So heavy on the PvP, and also more PvE elements getting added over time, and a bit of PvP-VE stuff too. And one of the biggest things when it comes to a lot of the extraction shooter stuff is the idea of wipes, being able to have kind of seasons of content, which is based around having new equipment every time and also having been reset. Active matter is slightly different in that regard. If you do die in a match, you do lose all of the kit that you have, apart from the stuff that you have in your save container, which you are able to keep. But basically what ends up happening is, yes, you do lose quite a lot of stuff. But I don't think they're going to do the seasonal stuff. We'll have to see going forward, since right now Active Matter is in early access. It's only available for purchase through the Gaijin store, but it will be available through Steam later on in 2026, and I'm guessing it will come to consoles at some point too. One of the things that has always basically put me off the extraction shooter genre is the, I suppose the PvP aspect has always been very annoying to me. It's a type of game mode that promotes elitism. It also promotes just playing like an arse, and also the other part is, since I stream quite a lot and I don't really play games off stream nowadays, streaming these types of games is just absolute hell. because, you know, the whole point of realistic FPSs and also, you know, fighting other people in a PvP setting is if they know where you are and you don't know where they are, it's very easy for them to deal with you and also to kind of Q-snipe you. It's something that happened in Enlisted quite a lot and made streaming the experience pretty much impossible. But Active Matter has a very good PvE mode. And also, it has a pretty interesting PvPvE mode once they sort out the spawns, which is something they've been at least doing over the last week or so. Now, the thing that makes Active Matter different from a lot of these other extraction shooters is it has a lot of, I suppose, what would be classed as stalker elements. The general idea of it is you're in a multiverse, everything's cracking, everything's breaking, so there's a bunch of these anomalies that have turned up on these maps, and you have to kind of deal with them, whether it's like gravity anomalies, which move different areas of the map, whether it's stuff like shadow demons, or whether it's plant men, or whether it's, you know, any of these types of monsters. You basically have to be able to deal with them while also fighting other people. And since I'm a big fan of Stalker, it's actually been pretty cool to fight these little things because it basically feels like a multiplayer Stalker when you're going around and doing stuff. Also, the fact that a lot of the maps, the way that you actually find the lore of the maps and also what has happened to the area is finding newspapers on them and also music on them, I think is really cool and interesting, meaning that the world building actually comes from you finding stuff in the world instead of just being told to you, which is great from these types of games. There's also certain maps which are, you know, PvE focused, there are certain maps which are PvP focused, and then also there are different game modes. So as I said, you have the PvP area, which we'll get into, you have the PvE area, and also the PvPvE area, which I think is the main one. You have standard raids. These raids you can usually do in PvE or PvPvE, and then you have the Nexus mode. Now, the Nexus mode is something that I made a video on a few weeks ago, because the first time I saw it and looking through it, I was like, oh, this is absolutely amazing. It is something that many people have been asking for many years when it comes to War Thunder and also when it comes to other areas. This is a mode which is dedicated to a massive world or universe map when it comes to Active Matter, and you fight over specific nodes, and when you win that battle, you gain the node, and that increases your team's area. And in the future, when you're able to create clans and do this instead of just using the standard clans, you'll be able to fight your part of the map as hard as you want. So that's kind of like the end game stuff, and a lot of people are already getting involved with it, and it seems to be super successful at the moment. The only issue with these types of things is how often are they going to reset it, and also at the same time what happens when one team just dominates the rest, which is something that happens in quite a lot of games over time. If you have a look at like PlanetSide 2, for example, or if you have a look at that other World War II game, which I always forget the name of, but it basically split into 3 maps. And once it's split into 3 maps, you had one team which dominated one of the maps, another team that dominated the other, and then basically you just had a little bit of a fight on one of the other ones. But what ends up happening is you usually get a dominant group, and then everybody just joins the dominant group, and then it just kind of sucks out everything else. But it means that storylines can be created, they can be made, and it can be fun. So I want to see how that goes. The gunplay feels really nice. The general mechanics of it also feel really nice. I would say, since it's an early access, the amount of content that's in the game, it's probably about like 50% of what's supposed to be there, meaning that you have like general progression systems, right? So you have the monolith system. So the monolith system is very similar to ranks, I suppose, when it comes to War Thunder. So when you unlock a monolith section, what that does is it unlocks a bunch of guns and stuff that you can use, and attachments, and also expansions to your storage, and also replication stuff. But you can actually use guns outside of the monolith system. So if you find a very high valued gun, you can still use it. It's not like it's locked away from you. But what the monolith does is once you unlock a gun, it means that you can actually research a blueprint for it. So this is where the game has a really cool kind of setup. So what you do is you go into raids, you find equipment, and if you either use the equipment or extract with the equipment, then you gain research towards a blueprint for it. Once you do that enough times, you unlock the blueprint for it, and this means that you can replicate that piece of equipment. So you can actually just build it for yourself, and you don't have to buy it. So it means that the economy of the game, you aren't going to run out of money all the time, because the idea is you use your credits in order to get, specific weapons, go into raids and then find other weapons and then do, either extract with them or do stuff with them. And then you can eventually replicate them for free. Now, there's a time-based element to this, so some guns take a day to make, some guns take 2 hours, some guns take 10 minutes, and it's all just based on how good they are. But the idea is you can always have pretty decent equipment if you play the game, and that's kind of how it goes. So the whole system of kind of getting equipment, I think, is pretty cool in the game. And so far, at least when it comes to the economic side of it, I haven't really had too many issues in terms of the credit stuff, apart from when I got annihilated about 3 or 4 games in a row and just had a pretty rough time with it. But basically, we're going to be playing this a lot on the weekends. It's going to become part of the standard stuff that I do for now, because I actually find it just really fun. It's something that I've been looking for a long time, a PvE part of a game, which is also kind of co-op, so you can bring 2 more people with you. It's not a standalone solo thing. You can actually queue up as a 3-man team, and you just get all of the stuff done. And you have different kind of objectives that you can activate and deactivate, and these basically are tied to either the monsters or, killing people in the games or, placing devices in specific areas. And if you complete these tasks, then you get access to more monolith tokens, so therefore you can push the monolith. So, and also they increase the difficulty of it. So you can either do like an easy raid where you don't put anything on and you just have to focus on killing other players, or what you can do is you can add these modifiers, which make things a little bit harder, and therefore you have to think about what you're doing and moving around. And for me, I think that's pretty cool and generally quite enjoyable. So I really have enjoyed this game, and if you want to have a look at it, as I said, we're going to be streaming it on the weekends and at the same time maybe during the week, but also we're going to be playing War Thunder. And if you check out my second channel, I've actually uploaded a bunch of the gameplay that we've had from it, and maybe on Sundays I'll be uploading some on this channel too. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.